And welcome back. Welcome back to another session with the older man. So I found this video and I thought I would highlight this particular video because I actually had another gentleman who had called in this exact problem. And it involved his wife going outside the marriage and borrowing money from one of her ex. When him and her were struggling with a little hard time, she decided to go outside and go to the ex because he had money and borrowed money from him without the husband's permission. And that's what we're going to discuss today. But this gentleman, he sort of highlighted the same issue. So I thought I'd bring this discussion to the forefront for all of you individuals who are either married or are in relationships, who are struggling, and you feel that you can't work it out together. Please take heed to this message, okay? But let's listen to this gentleman and you'll know exactly what I'm talking about.
I got a DM from a young man this morning and he said, "Truth, my wife went outside of our home to borrow some money, and not only did she borrow some money, but she borrowed it from an ex-boyfriend." So I stopped him. I said, "Youngin, it's not about that she borrowed the money. Fuck the money. What you have to understand is that when you're in a relationship or when you're in a marriage, this is a partnership. If we can't figure it out together, then we can go without it. If we can't make it happen within our means, then we can go without it. It's not the fact that she took the money. That's a violation as well. But anybody who's in any relationship, any type of situationship or anything where you're involved with two parties, whenever somebody goes outside, if you go outside of our home for anything, then it makes the partner look weak. This makes the partner look like they can't provide. This makes the partner look like they're not sufficient. So that's where the violation is.
So listen and listen well. The second you guys can't work it out together and you go outside to get your needs met, listen to what I just said, your needs. Because this woman is obviously living and expecting her husband to pay more than he can pay. Because this woman is, ladies, you have to understand what you're doing in your relationship. I remember this older woman giving this piece of advice, and I've heard it a few times online. If you're asking your husband to contribute more to the relationship than he can, especially in the form of money, then you're not being a good wife. I know a lot of you modern women think that, I can push my husband to be more and he should be more, and, I can motivate him to be more. There's a difference between motivating a man and pressuring the man to earn more just to satisfy your greed. Please understand the difference, ladies. Motivation comes from almost a nurturing. Men are programmed to want to provide. That's his natural instinct. That is what he thinks about constantly. We are biologically hardwired to protect and provide. That's it. And I'm telling you, ladies, regardless of the type of programming that has been done by the single mother epidemic, we still have that urge to protect and provide for a woman. And that woman nurtures that provision out of him. It doesn't have to be squeezed out of him. It don't have to be violently shocked out of him. It don't have to be coerced out of him. You don't have to beat him down to get him to go. It's not like whipping a workhorse to get him to get up and work and plow the fields. The issue is your kindness, your nurturing nature, your love, your whole feminine demeanor encourages him to help grow both of you together, to help move the family to the next stage. But the biggest issue that we have to discuss here, if you keep pushing your man for more and more and more and more, and both of you are living outside your means, to the point now where you're both financially strapped, and the bank ain't lending you any more money, the credit cards are pushed to the max, your credit is shot, you're already in trouble. But if you then have to quietly go behind his back and go to an ex who didn't want you, an ex who has the money, but he didn't want you. If you have to grovel back to him They say, hey baby, listen, we're in trouble. You know, I need some money. Can you lend me some money? I need 10,000, or I need a couple dollars until. What you have done is you have violated the sanctity of you and your husband's relationship. You have undermined him as a man because you've now looked at another man as your provider. You have done the absolute reverse of encouraging and building your man. You have literally just destroyed him as a man. So ladies, if you ever think about doing this to your man, please, please, please listen to these words.
All human beings need to feel needed, men more so than women, because men can't seem to justify their own existence. So unless they're needed, useful, productive, making a difference, they can't tolerate their own being. A man, when he gets married, needs to know that he is useful, necessary, important, that he is needed. So the worst thing a wife can say to her husband is, never mind, I'll do it myself. Anything the husband offers, accept it graciously, give him credit for it, even if it's not exactly what you need from him. But if you accept what he's giving, then you can move him to what you really need from him. But if you reject what he's giving, he'll quit. You emasculate him.
Because you have to understand the psyche of a man. You have to understand what breaks a man, what builds a man. And if you want to really break your man, one, cheat on him with his best friend, or take money from another man, especially an ex. But the other part, the biggest part of that as well, is doing it behind his back. The worst thing you could do. But don't just take my word for it. Let's listen to a few other points from people who've commented on this video. This lady says, so in a relationship, if the man lacks the effort necessary to avoid the financial situation at hand, I should just go without because he chooses not to do what it takes to rectify the situation. Oh my God. I should do without. That is where the problem comes in this society, in this modern woman. For some reason, they should never ever have to do without anything at all. Please tell me what kind of mentality a woman should have where she feels that she's entitled to everything. What kind of woman is that? I want you to question that in your head, ladies, where you feel that you are entitled to every single thing that your heart desires. Where do you get that sort of thinking? 90% of us go without every single day. Every day we go without. It's called sacrifice. It's called life. Because that's what we have to do. We are constantly sacrificing something. But this entitlement of I deserve everything, Jesus. And don't you understand, ladies? This is why men are saying, no, I will not marry you anymore. I will definitely go somewhere else to find a woman who don't have this sort of greedy mentality. Listen to what that woman just said. That is shocking to listen to. Somebody responded to her, we know where your mind at, laughing at her and crying at the same time. Someone responded, why is she still able to contact her ex? Yeah, the ex is the ex. It's a hello, hi, how are you, good, goodbye. That's the extent of which the ex should be in your life. Dr. Tillman, she said, if he had it, she wouldn't have to ask her ex. How else was she supposed to get more money? She'd do without. That's it. She'd do without. For some reason, that is not a possibility. You do without. This is another woman that's entitled. This is Western woman mentality. It's shocking to listen to this shit. I swear it is the most disturbing thing to listen to. Someone responded to Dr. Tillman, your first thought is to ask the next man, an ex at that? Just laughing at her. And there was 152 responses. We're not going to get into that. So here's a woman of reason. She said, the fact so many people are justifying this behavior goes to show they will disrespect you given the opportunity. I'm good off this whole generation, 100. Yeah, this generation, I swear, I think they're lost. I don't understand it. This lady, Pookie Schmimshop, she said she did what she had to do to make sure her home was taken care of. The fact that she had to go out and look for it shows that he is weak and that he is not providing. The only reason he's mad is because everyone else can see the weak shit she's been dealing with. They now know that he ain't doing his part as a man. He can fix all that by stepping up and providing so that she doesn't have to go anywhere else. Wow. You have no idea how glad I feel that I'm off the dating market in today's world. Seriously, I mean, listening to the way the women respond to this is insane. This gentleman, Adwizinoni, said, "Bruh, these comments, America is doomed. What about if he lost his job and he's getting back on his feet? What happened to for together or worse?" I think it should have read for better or worse. She borrowed ain't for needs, it's for materialistic wants. If the man has lost his purpose and she has been speaking to him, but he turns a deaf ear and the money was not for needs, then I can understand. But ain't no way that lady ain't working too. Exactly. Unless it's a point where they're going to lose their house. They need it for medical emergencies. And they can't go to family members. She can't go to a close female friend. She can't go to a lending institution. That there is no excuses. But in every single one of these cases, because both the husband and wife are financially yoked, that means that both of them are financially intertwined. Any money earned or any money borrowed is both of their responsibilities. She should have discussed it with him. "Hey babes, listen, we are in deep shit. We can't go to the bank, we can't get it from here, but you know my ex, I know he would lend it to me. I know he could lend us the money. He got the money. And I know he's a kind, generous man. I didn't marry him because I didn't love him. I love you. I know he would lend it to us. Do you mind if I ask him?" And I'm sure if the man basically saw no other way out, he would say, "Oh, babes, let's do it." But to go behind his back and treat him like a bitch, that's unforgivable, man. This other gentleman says, "See how they defend her in the comments? Pay attention to this stuff, fellas. This is how we weed who's for and who's not. Actions matter too." For in my opinion, but you definitely want to pay attention to her words as well. If she tells you you ain't shit and it's okay with doing ain't shit activities in the relationship, believe her and run. See, this is the problem. Once the man is married, man, he's on the hook. He's on the hook. Val K says, "Even my wife said that that's disrespectful. But these other women gonna champion this." Yeah, my wife said it was disrespectful as well. She would never do something like that. She would go without. We both agreed, yeah, we would lose the house first. Here's another woman, Ellen Marie Mom 3. She said, "This is a double-edged sword. If your partner can't help you, they shouldn't be your partner. You should never need another man for anything while you have a partner. That's just me." It's not a double-edged sword, my dear. The issue is if you have married a man and you're both living together, you are both responsible for living below your means and having insurance so that in the event something happens, you have enough funds to not be in a desperate situation where you have to borrow from a third party. This is the problem with the majority of the Western world. You all complain about, "Oh, we're broke, we don't have enough money."
Nowadays, I think it's harder because they, feel like they need to be making probably at least $125,000 to $150,000 a year to be able to take care of the family by themselves. And some of these companies just aren't paying that.
Okay, so how do you handle that? Here's the way you handle it. If that's the case, then let the wife go out and find whatever she can find and contribute to the support of the house. But now that's not the end of it. If she's going to go out and work and she'll take care of the house, then he's got to go out and work and come back and help her take care of the house.
Yeah.
You have to share it all together if you're going to do it that way. There's nothing wrong with that. But now, time is hard, so he's not making enough, so she got to work. Then she goes to work and come back and takes up the house, and he goes to work and come back and jump in the bed and watch television. That ain't the way it ought to be.
Right.
Yeah, you see.
I agree.
You can deal with the situation, and you have to deal with it. We have to deal with what is, but do it fairly, so you won't overwork your wife. You want your wife to respond to you, and she respond to you, and vice versa. Well, then share everything else. That's all I'm saying, and I will say it until I go home to heaven. That's just the way it ought to be.
Amen.
In reality, a lot of Westerners are living way above their means, way above the critical line. What I call the critical line, your one paycheck, your one payment from going bankrupt or being out on the street. This is where the majority of the Western world lives. Everybody wants the shiny objects, everybody wants the Louis Vuittons, everybody wants the luxury products. But no one realizes that, hey, if I get fired tomorrow, I'm screwed. If I get sick tomorrow, get hit by a car, I'm screwed. No one thinks like that. So anyway, guys, listen, I'm going to cut this one short. Remember, log into askanolderman.com, book a session with the older man. If you need any advice, if you need any help, if you need any mentoring, I am here for you. Very reasonable. I'm not here to rob anyone. I'm here to give back. I'm here to help you. But of course, it also takes time. And if you just want some quick answers, hey, get me over on Instagram on Ask an Older Man. Okay? Remember, whenever in doubt, always ask an older man. I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.